Good morning, gearheads, and welcome to the Speed City F1 pre-race show for the 13th round of the 2025 Formula One season, with the Belgian Grand Prix just 1 hour away. Hope you have yourself a fresh cup of coffee as we will get you ready for this circuit. This is Jon Massengale, and Jonathan Green is with me here in Austin, Texas.
Morning.
Bob Varsha has the weekend off.
What? How do you apply for those?
You don't. You just don't show up.
Oh, okay.
And
next weekend then.
Yeah, there you go. Chris Medland will be joining us from Spa here in a little while. We'll get a weather report to start with because apparently it's been raining all night. We don't know, but there has been lots of news overnight. Apparently, lots of drivers starting from the pit lane. We'll get into all of that. But I think I just want to start with a little weekend recap because we've already had a sprint race.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, what do you think of the sprint race at Spa?
I don't. You know, you said you mentioned the obvious yesterday, which is no overtakes, and it's like, yeah, because it's Spa. In other words, it's such a long lap that a sprint race doesn't give you chance for strategy because it is a sprint. So therefore, you're not worried about tires, you're not worried about fuel loads, you're not worried about anything really. So there's no strategy; you just go for it. That said, you know, it was fine, but the race was won and done by the third corner, which again is part of Spa, which is, you know, you can make a huge difference on that first lap because it effectively is a quick squirt down to turn one. You get through there, and then it's hell bent for leather. Downhill, up Eau Rouge, down the Camel Straight, and into the next right and left hander. So, you know, and that's where Verstappen won it. He basically got the lead there.
Yeah, and never looked back in the sprint race. So and clearly he had a low downforce setup for that race, for the sprint race. And then apparently a little different setup for qualifying. So we'll get into all of that.
Yeah, a lot of them were wary that rain was coming, and it has. Already an F3 race cancelled because of it. So I'm not quite sure of the situation now. I'm looking at the live ESPN coverage, and it looks dry at the moment, but it looks as though it's damp, put it that way.
Yeah, and I see some shadows too. So we've apparently got a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah.
Or at least
we might be dry. We might be dry.
Yeah, Chris called it yesterday. He was saying essentially that we would get rain in the morning and dry in the afternoon, and that's what it looks like so far. But we don't know how that could play out the rest of the day.
Yeah,
so.
Spa's always one of those places where you're literally looking at going, when's it going to rain, not if.
Yeah, exactly. But, of course, yesterday in the sprint, Piastri finished ahead of Lando Norris, so he increased his lead just a point or two.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. But
it was 8 points, so it'll be.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
It was 6 then 8, maybe?
Well, no, yeah, 8 for the win, 6, 5, 4. So, in other words, he's changed it by 2 points.
Yeah, by 2 points, yeah. So, but then Lando decided to, let's get into qualifying a little bit. He decided to try to take care of that and put himself on the pole.
Yeah.
And he was, we've got some post-qualifying interviews, and our producer, Casey Johns, producer extraordinaire, will get those ready for us. And because I want to hear from Lando and others, because Lando talks about, and this is the post interviews that F1 gives us, but in other interviews, he talked about the fact that it wasn't just, you know, the question thrown to him was, well, you know, why were you so much faster in the qualifying than you were in qualifying for the sprint? And he was like, you know, you put it down to a couple different things. But Casey, if you got Lando ready, let's hear from Lando Norris now.
Hey Lando, such small margins out there, but I think as you've said all weekend, you've been quick. What do you think made the difference today?
I mean, I drove a tiny bit better, and I just had a bit of a slipstream. Yesterday I didn't have a slipstream, and it cost me like 3.5 tenths, so makes a big difference. So I didn't have to change much. I just had to kind of drive a little bit better, and that was it.
I know that pole here isn't obviously the best starting spot as we saw this morning, but still, you've got no one in front of you. You're still optimistic about whatever happens. You can win this race tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. I'll be stupid, and there's no point in me being here if I didn't think that. So, you know, I'm here to win, and whatever the conditions are, that's my target. But, yeah, that's it.
I'll translate that for you, Jonathan. He said, I have to drive a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
you know, I watched the side-by-side yesterday with Alex Brundle, i.e. the Piastri's lap versus Norris's lap. It's 0.08 of a second.
Yeah, 0.08. That's right.
And I went through it twice, stopping where the bridges are, just to see the gap. and there's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm grinning ear to ear because I did exactly the same thing. I did where they start it.
Yeah.
And I stopped and clicked to see if they started it exactly
Yeah,
right
and they
all
did.
of that. And then I went and watched. Did you watch the Ghost Car one where they put them
I
on
didn't
track
see
at the
that one.
same time? And there was a couple of interesting differences, but they were never more than maybe half a car length, and they were only there for a split second. Like
it's sort of
the break point.
Like the last corner. Piastri fast in, slow out. Norris slow in, fast out. Which take your pick. One of the two is going to be better, but it's generally speaking either your preference.
Yeah. Well, Lando Norris on pole has history behind him because he's converted his last 4 poles into wins: Abu Dhabi 24, Australia 25, Monaco 25, and Austria 25. All were pole converted to win his last 4. So, yeah, I mean, I know Spa's a little different animal, especially Monaco in particular. But still, well, hey, I hear Chris Medland's microphone lighting up out at Spa. Mr. Medland, how are you, buddy?
I'm very good, thank you all. I am staying dry right now. I'm carrying a coat, and I'm going to try and doorstep a team principal as we walk this way. It's Jonathan Wheatley. Jonathan, you've got a car starting in the top 10 again, but Gabrielle this time. How pleased are you to have been consistently competitive at another new circuit?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just building on what I've been talking about for the last month or so. It's a great feeling to be able to genuinely be in Q3 on merit, and that the driver's feedback about the car is so positive. Slightly different lap, and I think Nico would have been in Q3 as well. So look, tricky conditions today. Not really sure what the weather's going to do. It's going to be a very long race, and I think it'll all come down to who makes the most good decisions.
I was going to say we love weather chat on the show because I'm the eyes and the ears for everybody on the ground, and I can tell them right now it's clouding over. There's some blue sky, there's some sunshine. We've got some heavy rain coming. How do you play it like this? Is it being very reactive, or do you try and get ahead of the game a little bit?
Heavy rain.
Well, you are taking on board every single piece of information as a team that you can get together from everyone, and then just try to build a picture up of what the right thing to do is. And as I say, it will come down to who makes the most good decisions today, I think.
Well, this is where your experience comes in, doesn't it? With your previous roles as well, that you can tell a team how to react in high pressure situations like this.
Well, I'm very calm in a race situation. The team's starting to feel much more to me like it communicates in a way that I would expect it to. We had some really good open discussions this morning about learnings from Silverstone. We learned an awful lot there. In fact, we're learning an awful lot all the time. But, we're up against Ferrari, we're up against Red Bull, we're up against Mercedes, these incredibly strong teams. And we've just got to be on the top of our game.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you go, because last time it was like this, you ended up on the podium. So good luck.
Thank you.
Oh,
Great stuff.
Way to go, Chris.
He's redeemed himself immediately.
I know. We've been on the show for 3 seconds.
That was much longer than the Meckies interview.
Oh, I've still got PTSD about that.
Chris, I have some
no, he's going to add to it now.
I have some bad news. I actually put the Meckies interview out on X, on Twitter.
I was tagged in it, and I was thinking, this is what I'm going to be noted for.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to try and use that to my advantage today. Whether it's pre-race or post, I'm going to try and grab him. But as Jonathan Wheatley there was just saying, it's going to be, I think, a really tense one for everyone. I've just been passed by one of the...
Oh, we're losing you a little bit, Chris. Go back to where you were.
I have. Better. And I was thinking, I don't need a coat on right now, but it definitely looks like it'll rain before the start of the race.
Well, let's talk about that. What is the forecast?
So forecast is for the first lot of heavy showers to arrive in about 25 minutes.
Oh,
so after the pit lane's opened, in fact, after the pit lane closes and everyone's on the grid, and then we could well get some heavier stuff, actually, like slightly more sustained heavier stuff a little bit after that as well into the race. So right now, you'd be looking at starting on slicks. I think the track will dry enough between now and the start if we didn't get more rain. But I think we're going to get more rain. So there's someone else who might be up for explaining. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to position myself where Andrea Stella is nearby. So I've got to see if he will speak and do a little walk and talk. But that's just me trying to place myself in the right places today. As I said, on this split paddock. I have got Andrea right now. I'll make it brief, Andrea, because you're running towards your garages and getting ready for the race. How tense are you when you've got changeable weather like this?
Always this Formula
Hmm. We're losing our signal with you, Chris.
all the scenarios that you can face. There should be more rain coming, so we think it's going to be a wet race, but you never know. So you need to be ready for everything: drivers, team, operations, technical. It's a complex matter, but also quite interesting.
Well, you clearly had the quickest car all weekend, but couldn't show it in the sprint because Max Verstappen got ahead with that top speed. How crucial will the start be today to make sure your guys stay out front?
The start is always important. I think if we take the lead, we should be able to use the pace of the car. But it's not everything in lap one. It's important to stay in the race, especially when you have a fast car. That's certainly the recommendation I've given to the drivers.
Well, good luck today. Thank you very much for that.
All right, Chris. Nice.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Two for two, everybody.
Two
Two for get.
Yeah, we lost signal for just a split second. So yeah, there's definitely a little more traffic. And speaking of that, what's the crowd like there, Chris?
That's always good.
Huge. It's brilliant, and it's been huge since Friday. We were watching sprint qualifying on Friday afternoon and being amazed at how busy it was. Pretty full in all the grandstands, all the seats. Admittedly, the difference we then have is you have the general admission areas where people are just sat on hillsides and banks, and obviously there's been some weather around too, so you don't want to be sat on wet grass. But it's completely packed yesterday and today. A huge crowd. It's a great venue for that. I will admit. Pinch your diamond shoes here, but it makes for a nightmare trying to leave eventually later tonight, because this is actually a tiny little part of Belgium where there's only some small towns around. This is not a huge access in and out of this track. So to get such a big crowd in here is great. A lot of people camp and stay here for the full weekend, and it makes for a cool atmosphere. But it will be slow going later, especially if we've had some pretty heavy rain.
Hey, Chris, let's talk about the pit lane starters, because we have a bunch of them today. And I mean, the first batch, Hamilton, Antonelli, and Alonso, all starting pretty close to the back anyway. So was this a had to power unit, or is this strategic choice because they are starting the back of the grid?
Yeah, strategic. You got it spot on there. Same for Carlos Sainz. He's made setup changes, and he was 15th. He dropped out. He got to Q2, but was the slowest car in Q2. So you've basically got 4 of the last 6 cars on the grid have all decided, you know what, with where we're starting, it's not worth it. For Antonelli, Alonso, and Hamilton, it was also exceeding their power unit quota. So it was a way of taking essentially no penalty, or very small penalty, to get more power unit components for the rest of the season. And it will just pay off longer term. It's not that they needed to do that before this weekend. If they qualified well, they didn't need to do it. Or later in the year, they wouldn't have been in trouble. But because they qualified badly, why not? It's almost like a bit of a free hit.
And I also would add to that, given that the consequences of turn 1, which is an absolute, head of a pin, as it were, hairpin, and therefore, if you look over the years, that first corner has caught out, I think of Grosjean going over the top of Alonso and many others. It's always been a definitive point for the start of a race. So if you can go around the inside, i.e. start from pit lane and effectively avoid that, you've got a free run down to Eau Rouge. So I can see some method in that madness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few people that actually flagged that up when I tweeted the news out a few hours ago. And it was, I think it's more of a consideration here. You're right in that sense. Because also with the weather, you add that in, as Andrea Stella has just explained to us there, you can't win it all on the first lap, but you can lose it. And certainly if there was a lot of spray and you've got a lot of cars and you haven't got good visibility, then you either could get caught up in an instant, or you just have to be a bit more cautious to be able to see. And in that case, then you're dropping back from people and you're not going to make gains. So there are more variables through the race that mean it's not quite the crucial first lap that it would have been yesterday, for example, in the dry.
Well, let me just take Hamilton as an example. What tactically could he do to improve his position?
In terms of from where he's starting now?
Yeah.
Well, because he's gone for the pit lane, he can obviously go. They could have made changes and have to the suspension so he can have a better setup as well as a fresh power unit. But he would have had a free choice on tyres anyway. And likely from further back, if it had been dry, he'd have gone on something like a hard compound tyre to run long, just to try something different, to try and offset. Now, if I'm honest, I think you're more likely to see, especially if we get the rain, if it's a rolling start, that will really help all these pit lane starters because they're just going to get to join the back of the pack straight away. But if it is a standing start, then you're more likely to see incidents, and you're going out into essentially clear air on intermediate tires that you can keep in blankets longer and keep them warmer. So you're going to have actually a performance advantage that way by having hot tires compared to everyone who's going to have done a formation lap or two. So I actually think in that sense, that's another way that it would help you, is that your first stint, you could actually find you have a performance advantage in the early laps.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Hey, Chris, I want to pick your brain on some other strategy stuff, but let's get a break in really quick. You're listening to Speed City F1. Back after the... All right. Checking in on YouTube. Kevin Kelly's here. TW's here. Paul Veltum's here. Bill Ricker. All right, Bill. And Mike Bowles. Got the usual gang here. Kevin Kelly's excited about rain in all caps and 1, 2, 3 exclamation points. TW says it rained here all day in Thailand, monsoon season. Paul says, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for the show. Paul, thank you. We appreciate you being here. That's why we do it, because of you guys listening. TW says, Maker's Mark tonight. No coffee. Yeah, he's way ahead of us.
Kevin Kelly says sprint equals boring.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was one of those ones where I got up at 6:30 in the morning. I didn't get up at whatever 5 when it really happened, but I got up at 6:30 and clicked it on and got all ready to go. And I had actually checked social before that and saw the results. And so after Max passed me, I went, okay, fast forward. I'll just drag this bar across the bottom and I'm done. I watched the whole thing.
Do you know what I did? Unless Chris is going to jump in.
I think it's a hot mic there.
No, I basically watched it. I did a racing driver thing. I closed my eyes and visualized it.
Oh, really? Well, you stand there and go, turn one.
Well, I'm listening to the commentary, and I could see the overtake literally in my head. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the track. So.
All right, let's see what else is going on. Mike Bowles says we're getting our... TW, we are getting our crowns again. Oh, those gamified things. I don't see it right now.
I see them.
It's weird. I don't know why I don't see them. Maybe because, you know what I bet happened? Remember I said I turned it off? I bet I turned it off on the account, on the Speed City account, on just the view. So maybe, anyway, I'll check into that. Hey, Chris, where are you, buddy? Oh, really?
I'm Liam Lawson, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
Business, they say you could have better, cheaper, or faster, but you only get to pick 2. But what if you could have all 3 at the same time? That's exactly what Cohere, Thomson Reuters, and Specialized Bikes have since they upgraded to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. OCI is the blazing fast platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs, where you can run any workload in a high availability, consistently high performance environment and spend less than you would with other clouds. How is it faster? OCI's block storage gives you more operations per second. Cheaper? OCI costs up to 50% less for compute, 70% less for storage, and 80% less for networking. Better, in test after test, OCI customers report lower latency and higher bandwidth versus other clouds. This is the cloud built for AI and all your biggest workloads. Right now, with zero commitment, try OCI for free. Head to oracle.com/formula. That's oracle.com/formula. All right, let's check in with Chris Medland and see if he's stalking or otherwise chasing a interview for us. How are you, Chris? And
I'm good. I'm always stalking, but I think right now we're in that lull when a lot of the team principals and bosses have gone into the pit lane, and I have to wait 10 minutes because I've stayed this other side. But I could tell you if you've got me clearly, so I do wonder if
yeah, we do.
Yeah, we got you.
Cool. Well, there was one team boss I wanted to grab off mic to try and find something out, and it was Zach Brown, because there's been a few reports in the press recently in America about him being excited by a potential rookie test in IndyCar.
Yeah.
That could happen on an oval. I believe it's on an oval, ahead of the 500 next year. Now, he won't tell me who it is, He doesn't want to build it up too much based on the fact that he says it might not happen. This is not something that's nearly done and they're ready to announce. It's just it could happen. They're working on it. Thinks in the next 2 weeks we'll know whether it's happened or not and be able to give the name. But if it does, I was led to believe it's very exciting, very big.
Well, hang on. There's only 2 drivers.
Well, if I go back to the time when I was at when I was working for a racer on some IndyCar news, we broke the story on Fernando Alonso doing the Indy 500
Yes.
with McLaren. So I put my arm up being like, if Fernando doing it around here, like, is it? And he didn't really respond yet. He kind of was smiling. I was like, is it like that level? And he's like, yeah. So,
wow.
I believe it's someone who's potentially raced in F1 before. I put Seb's name to him, and he was like, everyone's a possibility, but he was directly just deflecting on everything I said. So it wasn't that I took it that it's definitely Vettel that he's talking to, but maybe.
Who do you think?
I genuinely have no idea, if I'm honest with you, because Vettel does tick the box if you want to go with an ex-F1 driver. But don't forget, Zach is very savvy about motorsport in general. And look what they've done with Kyle Larson, and that is really cool with what they had, bringing him into the Indy 500.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily needs to be an ex-F1 world champion for it to get him this excited. So I'm not one who would guarantee that's where the kind of pool it would come from, but he seems very excited, put it that way. So
Shane van Gisbergen.
I love it when he works on these things. Yeah, well, who knows? But I love the way he works on some of these things in terms of he just sees a bigger picture and he will go for it, even if it seems outrageous, and see if he can pull it off. And he is like a kid at Christmas when he's chasing this sort of thing, because it's very cool for him to do and McLaren to do, but he knows as well it's just cool for motorsport to see when
exactly.
Crossovers. So fingers crossed, whatever it is will come off. And if I can find a name, I will bring it to you guys. But speaking directly to him then, I couldn't get a name. And that's why when I say Seb, for example, that was me offering it up. It was not one that got confirmed back at me.
Well, most of our guys online have all spilled their coffee in the excitement of that, because that's woken them right up.
Yeah.
Good. Because that means, while they all clear it up, I can put my coat on because it's starting to rain.
Yeah, I've been looking at the pictures and just saw the grey cloud. Now we can see the satellite. Yeah, man, you got some rain.
Chris, you're going to have to go back to meteorological school because it's not been 35 minutes since we came on the air. So you got it wrong by about 10 minutes.
That's forgivable in Spa.
No, that's a lottery win in Spa.
Yeah,
it is.
The speculation I've seen online was Jenson Button, Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel.
Could be Max.
I'd rule Max out.
Yeah,
because,
I think so.
We've got the Clash. We've got the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So I can't see a current driver doing it. They'd have to be a current McLaren driver, and they're fighting for championships. They're not going to do it. So, I think current ones you could rule out.
So there was a couple of speculations. Do y'all know who Cletus is on YouTube?
South Park?
No, he is a hilarious YouTuber. He's a car YouTuber, really. He's just this a southern guy like Georgia or Alabama, or I don't know where he's from, but anyway, maybe outside Atlanta. But anyway, he's a giant YouTuber, and he races cars. I think he's even dabbled in NASCAR or Xfinity or something. They let him behind the wheel. Anyway, I know that's crazy, but
Coats are going on in the stands.
You need it. It's fat rain. I can tell you that.
Is it really? It's coming down good now.
Yeah. So it's not that heavy as such, but it's heavy enough that my hood is up. But that you would, every drop you feel it. It's not that kind of light stuff. It's the heavy stuff that just a drop on the back of your neck makes you kind of shiver. So it's going to come in pretty hard, I think, for the next 10, 15 minutes, maybe a bit longer.
Yeah.
I can't currently see a radar to know exactly how long, but
Chris,
it's going to be a wet grid.
Go back to the pit lane starters. Is there any tactical? I mean, is there anybody taking a sort of chance? We mentioned the reasons why you might do it, and that's, PU changes, etc. But tactically, is anybody sort of going, right, I'm going to start for the pit lane so I can do X, Y, and Z?
So I think more science is that one, where they've made mechanical and aerodynamic setup changes. So that shows that they felt that they didn't have the right setup for today. Whether that was that they weren't heavy enough in terms of a wet weather setup, or if they've looked at it that today will be wet dry and they think actually they can be a little bit more aggressive with their setup, or just the way the car handled for him in qualifying, he wasn't happy with it. Obviously, this is a sprint weekend, so they only had one practice session to really play around with setups.
Sure.
You do get two chances to change them with Parc Fermé opening up again after the sprint, but it's not always going to mean you go in the right direction because you have less data to work with. So it might have been for that reason too. But yeah, I'd say that's the only one that was kind of a direct response to their car performance and saying, I'm not happy with where the car's at and there's not a lot we're going to lose. Similarly as well, I think the science confirmation came through late, and it's because they'll have seen the other three behind him were taking these penalties for power unit changes. Well, that meant he was going to lose fewer positions by doing it himself. He suddenly had become the third last car on the grid, having previously been the sixth last car. He was meant to start 15th. So he was in a position to only lose 2 positions to make these changes. If nobody else was starting from the pit lane, and Williams did that, he goes from 15th to last to starting in the pit lane. So yeah, it lessened that impact as well. So that's the only one I'd call tactical.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, I want to ask you, I alluded to this earlier. I want to ask you a strategic question on the fly, no prior notice, but we always talk about the compromise of going with low downforce versus high downforce. Track like Spa, I feel like it's particularly magnified. But talk about how the strategies of doing that and what you think people are doing this weekend.
Yeah, so the main thing here is because of the characteristics of this track, it is split pretty equally in the way we can describe it. But the first sector and the third sector lend themselves much more to a low downforce setup. There's long straights, flat out sections. You want good top speed. But the middle sector is far more high speed corners, and a lot of changes of direction. So you want more downforce on the car. So it's which way do you want to go? And there's enough lap time to be gained in the downforce section that it's a toss up really. You can make a lot of time up on the straights, top speed, but then when you get to the middle sector, you lose maybe up to a second compared to if you'd have gone with the high downforce where you'd lose probably 3-4 tenths in each sector, maybe even a bit less, but gain that second back in the middle sector. The reason then you think, well, then you go high downforce because that's a quicker lap time. But the middle sector, being with all the corners, you can't overtake very easily there. So if that's where your advantage is, you've got to be at the front, otherwise you don't get to use it. And that's what we saw in the sprint yesterday. Max Verstappen had low downforce. He could overtake Oscar Piastri at the start. And then the area the McLaren was stronger, the middle sector, it couldn't use that strength because it had a car in front of it holding it up. So that's where you have to think, right, if we're going low downforce, we need track position. You're going to look at someone on low downforce, for example, will be looking at a one-stop race, trying to be ahead of other cars as much as possible to influence them. If you're on high downforce, you're going to look at maybe 2 stopping or stopping more often because track position is going to be key for you in the middle sector, but mainly it's clean air. So if you have no other cars around you and you are in the middle sector using your pace, then when you make pit stops, that's where you're going to jump ahead of people. So it does completely change the way you run a race too, as you say. And in a sense, all bets are off with that now because it's raining. The only team that I noticed that still went strongly low downforce was Mercedes. George Russell was fastest in Sector 1 and Sector 3 in Q3. 2 purple sectors. Normally, you'd think that would lend itself to he's going to be on pole position. He was about a second off, I think, because of how much slower in the middle sector he was. Well, when it's wet, to get more grip, you want more downforce on the car. It's more of a penalty if you don't have it. That's what we saw with Max Verstappen struggling in Silverstone. I think George Russell right now, with it raining, could well be in for a tough afternoon.
And of course, last year, and you'll have to remind me, but Russell, on paper, won the race by doing a one stop. He was quite strategically clever, but then the car was found underweight, so he didn't get the win. But do you think anybody might try that today?
I think they would have. I think it's totally different now because of the weather we've got. There's no mandatory pit stop because it's going to be declared wet. So you could technically just start in the set of intermediates and run to the end of the race if it dried up and you took the tread off them and ended up with slicks. But this track demands a bit more than that. And the weather looks like it's going to change so much. I think we're going to see multiple pit stops. I mean, I think right now I'll make a prediction. I'm going to say whoever wins this race makes at least 3 pit stops.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Shoot.
Hey, speaking of Mercedes, I want to play this clip from Kimi Antonelli because it's actually a pretty unusual clip from a driver in Formula One because he is his lack of confidence. So let's hear from Kimi.
Yeah, I think it's just a difficult period and just need to get out of this and try to improve for the next one.
In terms of just how you felt out there, was it much as difficult as it's been all weekend? Was it?
Yeah, definitely the confidence has been missing. Definitely also I struggled to have the same feeling as yesterday, for example. And just really need to find the light out of the tunnel again.
Go listen to and watch, more importantly, the Kimi Antonelli video interviews from yesterday, because he is visibly lack of confidence. And another interviewer asked him at the end of the interview, he said, "Are you okay?"
Mhm.
And he paused and was like, genuinely like, "Thank you for asking." Essentially, you could see it in his face. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
He's a typical Italian. They wear their heart on their sleeve. It's a national sort of,
if he could,
trait.
if he could just get the advice of, let's say, a 9-time world champion Italian.
7.
No.
He's
have the
taken his
story in the
advice.
show doc.
His advice comes from one Valentino Rossi.
9
So
times.
I was part of that interview when he talked about that this weekend. as
Really?
well. Yeah. So it was Lewis Larkin from Crash.net, who have a big motorcycle presence on their site.
Yeah.
Said, "Oh, if there's time, can we ask him about this?" I was like, "Go for it." So when the interview was about to end, I said, "Did you want to ask about ballet?" And yeah, that was where Kimi was explaining about the advice he's had from Rossi in terms of, just be yourself and give yourself space, prioritize how you're feeling sometimes. But the reason I said a 7-time world champion is because I can also tell you that earlier today,
That's right,
a
Hamilton.
certain Lewis Hamilton walked out of the Mercedes engineering trucks just before Kimi Antonelli did. And I'm kind of told it's just in the same way that anyone might bump into old colleagues and go for a coffee or whatever. This is a paddock. Everyone works still in the same location, even if they move teams. And quite often, a head of comms might go back to their old team for a coffee to catch up with members or whatever. That Lewis still has that familiarity, wanting to go back and see Bono and Ron Meadows and stuff
Sure.
like that. So dropped in to chat to them, they believe. But that Kimi was in there too. And that, quite often, sort of thing Lewis would do is, keep your head up. F1's tough. Don't let it get to you. Go out there, show them what you can do. Just give him that boost that, hey, it's hard for everyone. And to be honest, in many ways, the fact that Lewis has had such a tough weekend is probably the best example for Kimi to look at and go, hey, I'm in my first season. I'm
Happens
still
to
learning.
the best.
Yeah.
Look at this guy and how tough it's been for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, guys, let's get a break in real quick. You're listening to Speed City. We're half an hour from the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. Back after these messages. All right, checking in with the YouTubers. And Todd Dauber made it. He says it's 59 degrees. Good morning from 59-degree morning here in Idaho. Todd, we woke up here in Austin to 79 degrees. That's kind of our typical hottest time of the year for us. TW's there talking about his weather radar. We've now, Chris, look what you've done. The YouTube chat has gone full weather talk now. They're all talking about their different. Kevin Kelly's using my radar for his. It's, oh my gosh, it's all weather talk all the time here on Speed City.
So I believe the one I normally reference is from the FIA, and I believe it's Meteo France that give them that. I don't know if that's a radar that's freely available online, but we get a login for it to see what the FIA is seeing, and it has a nice pin, like a crosshair, right on top of the circuit, so you can see the distances and how long it will be till weather will hit. It's a really good tool. Right now, it's definitely hit. It's pouring down out there, and I'm about to wander out onto the grid. So if you hear weird noises on the microphone, it'll be rain.
Well, we're looking at. I actually got a good view of the rain right now. They're showing the Haas car under its pop-up.
It's heavy.
It's dripping all the way around in a rectangle. So yeah, it's coming down.
Big time.
Yeah, all the.
Well, that ain't gonna dry before race start. That's for sure.
Hey, all you YouTubers, everybody watching it on. I like to check in every now and then, but are y'all watching it on TVs? Are you watching it on second? I know Kevin's watching on one of his 9 monitors he's got set up. But how are you guys watching it? Y'all watching it on a TV or a second or a laptop or what?
This is going to be interesting. I'll tell you, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I like your prediction, Chris. 3 stops.
Thank you. Are we on a break right now? I missed that.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't you just tell by the pace? All right, but now we're not. We're coming back.
All right.
Hi, this is Max Verstappen, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
Right now, with zero commitment, try Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for free. Head to oracle.com/formula. That's oracle.com/formula. All right, we are 25 minutes away from the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, and it's pouring down rain. And Chris Medland has predicted 3 stops for whoever wins this race. And Jonathan, what do you got, buddy?
I just want to confirm or deny, but it's a good time because nothing's happening at the moment. But are we agreed that Verstappen is staying at Red Bull for now?
I mean, that's what it looks like. But Chris, go ahead.
Yes, we are. We were talking about it a bit yesterday, weren't we? That we think you'd stay for another year, see the real lay of the land, and understand who's most competitive and which seats he could look at in 2027 by seeing the first year of the regs in 26. But I've also had a steer today that talks are progressing in the right direction with a certain Mr. George Russell. That would see him staying at Mercedes. And I got a hint that it was a solid multi-year contract. So if Max is going to go to Merck, it's going to have to be alongside George.
Well, George is shining right now while Antonelli is struggling.
If that's the case, there's a good chance that this could be Russell's best opportunity for a world title for several years.
Yeah.
Next year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I must also bring you guys news of multiple accidents on the grid. I've never seen so many umbrellas in one place. So much a lack of awareness of what an umbrella actually extends over. And there are collisions everywhere. This is chaos.
Yeah, we're watching. That's Brundle and Nico Rosberg.
Oh, no! Oh, mayhem! Brawley mayhem.
Yeah, Brawley mayhem.
Speaking of mayhem, do you remember our really in-depth interview we did with Laurent Mekies yesterday? Well, we've got him again on the grid. Laurent, your first full Grand Prix as Red Bull team principal. It's not going to be an easy one, is it, in this weather?
Oh, it's a difficult one for everyone. Obviously, conditions have just worsened quite a bit as we were going to the grid. The rain picked up, and it's probably a bit on the edge right now of whether or not you can drive the cars. But it's what it is. Apparently they should stop at some stage, and then there is another front a bit later. So I'm sure there will be enough to keep everyone busy, especially the drivers.
I'm sure it won't be an easy race to manage. But how has the job gone so far these first couple of weeks for you?
The team is fantastic. There is so many talented people here. So it's been a pleasure to meet as many of the team members as possible. That's what the next few weeks will also be about. It's especially it was super nice to meet people at the factory. It's nice to have another angle with what's happening at the racetrack.
And good points on offer for both cars today.
Sorry.
Good points on offer for both cars today.
With conditions like that, you will have very big points. The cars will be mixed, and for sure somebody is going to leave Spa with a very happy smile, and some other probably might not. So,
well, good luck. Hope it's you guys.
Thank you.
Nice, Chris.
Great job.
He had to give you that interview today, and he gave you a nice little chunk of time too on the rainy grid out there.
I'll just say one thing about the whole. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say he did, but also I think I've just put myself in the doghouse because I think we beat Sky Sports to that interview.
Oh, it's okay. I know the producer.
Suddenly look across.
I know the producer. She's mean, but she'll forgive you.
We'll see. I wasn't jumping out of that one early because of what happened yesterday. So that was quite an interesting one. I'll tell you what's interesting. Valtteri Bottas is here on the grid in a cap with sunglasses and no coat.
Well, of course, he's finished.
It was sunshine 10 minutes ago.
Okay, will there be sunshine again soon?
No, 5 minutes.
Okay, so where's your coat?
I don't know, man. Spot. Anything can happen.
What's next? What's next?
Well, we were going to ask about your future. We'll do that another time. Let's talk about this race, though. What do you bring on the pit wall or in the garage when it's like this, your experience? Do you give a lot of feedback?
I think in a race like this, I can actually give the driver's view on certain things. And if I feel like things are going south, then I might jump in just to give my opinion. I think it's always useful to have an extra opinion.
Confident you'll be racing on this track next year?
Sorry?
Confident you'll be racing on this track next year?
Optimistic. I'm working on it, Hawk.
Okay, well, we'll get you when it's not quite so hectic to find out more. Thank you.
Good interview.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Bottas is so great right now. I look forward to his tweets.
Return. I look forward to his return.
Absolutely. Hey, you talked to Laurent Mekies. In honor of that, I want to play the post-qualifying interview from yesterday from Yuki Tsunoda, because had his finish yesterday was the best finish by a second Red Bull driver in a long time. So let's hear from Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Also, a big credit to the team that they brought an upgrade just before qualifying. Yeah, so very happy with that. I certainly feel the massive difference with that, and have still some bits to go. But I mean, even the floor was big enough to be in this position. So yeah, big thanks to the team, and they worked hard to brought me to this Grand Prix. So yeah, and also mechanics as well. Yeah. Amount of job they've done was pretty hectic, and I can't still believe that how they're able to make it into qualifying. But everything was good. Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow.
You know, I was going to make this comment before I heard that interview, but that's obviously the first time I've heard it. One big upshot of Horner and the whole thing sort of, you know, kind of changing at both teams, Red Bull and RB,
both,
is that I think this is a huge opportunity for both Lawson and Tsunoda, and to a certain extent Hadjar. They're a lot more comfortable with this environment of Mekis, who they all know, and obviously with Alan Permain, who they all know. And yesterday, you could see them high-fiving and hugging and all the rest of it. This is really going to help Yuki and really going to help Lawson achieve what they want to achieve, because the monkey kind of is off the back a little bit after what was a tough time.
Yeah, two things.
Oh,
One,
your timing is great, Johnny Green, because I'm going to come and corner Alan Permain on the grid. And Alan, I imagine right now this is a very different grid for you, because you're getting all these media requests for your first race as the team principal. You've been in this sport so long. Does it feel a bit different though this weekend?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a different role, different responsibilities. I'm stepping back from the engineering side of it, but still there to support them. It's good.
And well, going well so far as well. Both cars here in the top 10 to start this race in wet conditions. What have you seen from the drivers so far this weekend? They're looking pretty strong.
Yeah, very good. They've both been fully on it, fully focused. Great job yesterday, and even in sprint quality, we were, I think, 9th and 11th, and we felt we could have done a bit better, but we maximised things yesterday.
And how's the support been from, I guess, the drivers, but the team, everyone around, like seeing you now lead them?
It's been amazing. Honestly, it's been humbling. It's made me very proud. It's a great team, and I'm really happy to be doing this.
Well, they've given you a nice, easy race to get stuck into as well, first of all, so we'll let you get on with it. But good luck today.
Thank you.
Oh, brilliant stuff, Chris.
Excellent.
They're both Racing Bulls starting 8 and 9. That's fantastic for him. What a great day. But I was just going to talk about Yuki, because you said, maybe it's a little time for them and may hit a reset button or whatever, because, at Red Bull, you never know when somebody's going to get fired, right? Well, they're probably going to wait at least a race or two, let the new team principal get settled in. But, Chris,
I think it's going to settle down now.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, Yuki's future doesn't look any brighter necessarily, because, he is out of contract both with Honda and with Red Bull. But I think he's also now, especially, this weekend, delivering. And so, he's getting closer.
But hey, Chris, now I know you know this story about Laurent Mekis helping out Yuki a little bit, right? With some upgrade parts from Max's car, right?
Well, I think it's less Mekis helping him out, but it was that Red Bull managed to bring an upgraded floor in time to be able to use this weekend on both cars. So while the first one was, there was only one ready and Max was running it from the start of the weekend, they managed to get the second one manufactured and shipped over here and on the car ahead of qualifying, and it made the difference. That's what Yuki was mentioning in his interview there, that the floor, he thinks that was essentially what made the car good enough to get the Q3, and he delivered it.
So speaking of floors, did I see something on social about the Aston Martin floors, Chris? Did you hear about this?
Well, if it's what I think you're talking about, and I didn't see this on social, but I just remember from interviewing Andy Cowell or being in his media session on Thursday, it was that Aston Martin are not using their new floor here. They're using an old floor because of the ride height they need to run the car at, and the older floor suits a higher ride height, and that's due to the compression that you get at this track. We're talking about it actually yesterday, that teams all have to run their cars at a higher ride height here, not because of bumps, it's actually quite smooth, but because when you go down through Eau Rouge and then up the hill to Raidillon, That's such a high compression point that the car bottoms out heavily if you don't raise the ride height enough. And floors are kind of designed to operate at different ride heights. So they're saying that the old Aston Martin floor was better at a high ride height, and that's why they're using it here. Now, with the end result of what we've seen, I do wonder if that's been a mistake, or if they're worried about making that choice, because they were nowhere in qualifying. But to be fair to Lance Stroll, he's moved up 4 places already today without even starting a race, thanks to the pit lane starters. So maybe better in the race.
He's done a great job so far.
And the other thing to mention about, just going back to Red Bull a second, long nose, short nose, are they using the new front wing that Verstappen's got? Will Yuki get that or not?
To be honest with you, I do not know the answer to that. I will try. I'm close enough to both cars. I might be able to. I can compare. Well, I can try to. I can see Yuki's car, and I've got to take a mental image of this as I look at it to then be able to work out if it's the same or not as Max's. But you're going to get this live to find out how technically studious I am. But I'm now walking from Yuki's car to Max's car, although I might tail off if I can grab anyone to interview. But I'm going to head straight to Max's car now, have a look at his front wing. And been passed by the two Racing Bulls drivers we were talking about, actually, who are looking very
nice,
very focused. Like you say, they've got some strong points on offer. Right, let's get to Max Verstappen's car, which is very busy. And, I'm going to say no. I'm looking at that, and in my head, I can't even understand quite why I think it looks different, but it doesn't look the same.
There you go. Okay.
I'm going to say Max has the new one, and Yuki does not. And I believe it's actually the front two elements are the ones I'm looking at that look a little bit different between the two of them.
Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole with Sam Collins last night, as is my wont of a Saturday night, and he was explaining how they got this longer nose for Verstappen.
You're a party animal on Saturday night.
Aren't I crazy? Living it up.
All right, let's get a break in real quick, our last break, and then we'll be ready to get the race going. You're listening to Speed City, back after these messages. Okay, still live on YouTube. Let's see.
Well, that's why I asked the question. Kevin Kelly said that. Yuki with new floor, but not the new front wing. And Kelly knows what he's talking about. So
yeah. And Chris, that was pretty much spot on. Some of the rumors were saying they didn't mean to bring that floor to Aston Martin. But
delayed start.
Breaking news. Okay, KK.
You knew that before I did, and I've just asked Yuki himself, and no, he does not have the new front wing.
Thank you. Oh, no, see that?
Look at that.
That's what I call a trump right there. You trumped me.
Nice.
Shook his head.
So apparently delayed start, Kevin Kelly says. So let's see here. I normally go to Chris Medland's Twitter feed to find stuff out like that, but
he's busy.
He's busy. That's right. Man, it is super fresh news.
Yeah, you beat most people to it. I mean, Williams just fired up their car. A lot of people are still leaving the grids. Alex Albon's about to get in his car, which might be a long wait then if it is delayed. Trying to work it out.
Hey,
yeah, I'm just
he's looking focused.
When it's wet
Alex
like this,
very focused.
Who is?
Alex Albon, just getting ready to get in his car.
He should be focused. He's qualified really well.
Well, he doesn't have any shoe covers on his racing boots, so he's going to get wet feet.
He's the tyres are used to wet feet. They spend their life on the beach.
See if someone dries his feet off when he gets in, but I think he's going to get wet feet here.
Okay, so I asked the question a while ago. How's everybody watching it? TW's on a 65-inch TV. Todd Dauber, laptop in bed with F1 TV. Now that's how you do it, buddy.
Yeah.
TW iPad and iPhone also.
And with us, obviously.
Yeah, obviously with us.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Mike Bowles has a tablet along with a...
Hey, Chris, when we come back...
TV, yeah.
Yes.
Talk about how the topological nature of this circuit, I know it well, you know it well. Talk about how the water that is now cascading down, where it ends up. And I'm guessing
all right, here we go.
At the bottom of the hill after Pouhon.
Hello to everyone, this is Gunther Steiner, this is Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
All right, welcome back to Speed City. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I'm in the way, I'm getting moved.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, James Vowles getting me under an umbrella. I've got James Vowles here next to Alex Albon's car on P5. James, great starting position, but a lot of variables today. How does this one shape out?
Yeah, I mean, it's Spa. It wouldn't be Spa without this weather. There was actually a time I was too warm in Spa yesterday, so it's quite nice to have the rain come back. It always mixes it up. Simple as that. It is so tough around here in the wet. What was an easy corner, Eau Rouge, and even Blanchimont, they're now going to be lifts, so it creates a little bit of intrigue. And on the radar, we got quite a bit of rain coming as well. So it's not just what you see now. I think it's going to worsen quite quickly. For us, the car's been quick all weekend now. Obviously, we haven't run it in a wet condition, but I'm confident that we've got a balance that should accommodate both. And with Carlos, we tried a little bit something different, so he'll start the pit lane.
Was that a setup change because of where he was starting, or also because of all the other drivers starting in the pit lane?
No, it was. We always try and make a decision based on ourselves, but two things. There are many forecasts, but this really is the wetter end of where we were, so we took the opportunity to put the car in a better place.
Understood. And what would constitute then a good result today? Because the biggest results could be on, and the worst could be on.
I mean, for me, top 8 is where I want us to be with Alex. I know we're 5th right now, but the reality behind it is we got some fast cars back there. Already getting to the end, there's going to be a race for attrition, and with Carlos back in the points. So great for 2 cars, isn't there?
Well, good luck for that. I've been told I've got to get off the grid, so see you later.
All right, nice job, Chris. James Vowles, team principal, Williams, and Jonathan. You confirm 15-minute delay.
That's what we're hearing. And Chris actually has now got the challenge of having to get all the team principals before the delay is over.
Yeah, Chris, you've had Wheatley, Stella, Meckies, Permain, and Vowles.
I just asked James Vowles before we did that interview while we're in the break. I was like, "Is it a delayed start?" And he said, "Not that I know of, but I haven't checked in the last couple of minutes." So he didn't have a headset on because I was going to interview him. So he might now be finding out that it is a delayed one, but they still kick us off the grid at the same time because otherwise we would just be endlessly interviewing people and they'll get very bored of us.
Huh. Yeah, I'm actually checking the official Formula One Twitter right now and don't see if there's. Yeah, I don't see an official delayed start yet. So I mean, we're still waiting to hear official word on that. So we shall see. Let's see. What else? Chris, I was looking through the. You know what I'm going to try to do, Chris? I'm going to try to do my best Bob Varsha imitation while we have a break.
Oh, my word.
Do we have time for a grid? Do you have anybody that you're stalking immediately?
No, you are free to go. Now we've been kicked off the grid. It's very hard to get anyone else. So the timing is good. I did just see a countdown clock saying that it was the normal countdown to formation.
Okay. Well, that's official then. You're there, man.
Well, but that graphic has now disappeared. So whether that will change, I don't know. But I will keep an ear out. But nothing come through from the FIA on my phone, which is also another way we find out. So as it stands, I think we're going racing at the agreed time.
As it stands. All right. Well, we shall see. All right. Well, I'm just going to run down the grid because Bob Varsha's not with us. Very sad to not have Bob with us today. But I'm going to run down the grid so everybody at least knows who is doing what today. So we got Lando Norris on pole, followed by his teammate, Oscar Piastri. But Lando, it's a good position for him. He's converted 4 of his last poles to wins at Abu Dhabi 24, Australia 25, Monaco 25, and Austria 25. So, and he's converted 50% of all of his poles to win. So that's good for him. And Oscar Piastri behind him, and he is 0.08 of a second behind him in the qualifying time yesterday. So followed by Charles Leclerc, great spot for Ferrari after some upgrades in third. Who knows, he might be able to do something from there. Followed by Max Verstappen, who won the sprint race, looked incredibly fast in the sprint race. Followed by Alex Albon in the Williams car. And then George Russell in the Mercedes, who was looking quick during that qualifying, those last few laps, but ended up P6, followed by Yuki Tsunoda. And Yuki Tsunoda achieved the best qualifying result for Red Bull's second car this year in P7. So good on you, Yuki. And followed by the 2 Racing Bulls of Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson. And did you guys know that Isaac Hadjar is the only current driver with no Q1 exits this season? So another streak intact for Isaac Hadjar. And then behind those guys in 10th, Bortoletto in the Sauber, and followed by the 2 Haas cars of Ocon and Behrman in 11th and 12th. Pierre Gasly in the first Alpine in 13th. Nico Hülkenberg down in 14th, 4 places behind his teammate. And then Colapinto in the other Alpine in 15. And then 16 is Lance Stroll. And then the last 4 drivers starting from pit lane because of engine swaps are Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Antonelli and Fernando Alonso bringing up the back in 20th. So, Chris, I do hear your microphone. What's going on around you?
I'm just getting confirmation from the FIA that we do not have a delayed start. So
yeah,
was it Kevin Kelly we got to shout out, or was
Yeah,
he just excited
Kelly.
and wanting one?
Kelly, you're in the
You're in the corner. You're
penalty box.
The penalty box. There you go. But yeah, wouldn't have surprised me though with all the rain.
Hang on, he was quoting Nate Saunders, mind you. So
Ah,
it's Nate's
Chris.
fault, Chris.
What's Nate? Right, I'm going to find Nate. I know where he is. I'm going into him right now.
I love a good
I'm going to
stir.
go and have words. Oh,
Oh yes.
busy.
All right.
I can also see a. It's behind the safety car. Will be the start of the formation lap.
Okay.
But I'm approaching the desk of Nate Saunders right now. You can see him.
This is
He's
great.
frowning at his laptop. Did Nate Saunders post that there was a delayed start to this race?
He did indeed.
Did he win?
Yeah, he said Red Bull expected a delayed start to the race.
Oh, okay. Clear difference there.
Sorry, your question was misleading. I said Red Bull expect a delayed start, and I expect one too.
And you were both wrong.
Yeah, it seems so. I'm just reporting what was on the grid, mate. I can only report what I hear. But yeah, if you were being technical about it, yes, I was wrong.
Well, expecting is the caveat. That's the true journalist cop out. But you have me running around saying, "Is it a delayed start?" to all the team bosses, and they're like, "No."
Sorry about that, mate. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So there we go. We've outed Nate Saunders live on National Radio.
Yeah, that's really good.
That was great.
Talk about going to the heart of Formula One.
You could tell two good buddies there.
If Kelly doesn't enjoy that, he'll enjoy nothing.
Yeah, Kevin Kelly, you just directed the last 10 minutes of the show, buddy. Thank you.
Well
That was
done.
awesome. Okay, what did we miss?
I'm just glad that wasn't the interview or the only interview that we got.
Yeah, true. It's true. Hey, I did want to flag this up. Toto Wolff quoted after this weekend's qualifying. He said, "As a team, this weekend has fallen far below our standards so far. It has been our weakest performance of the year." And yeah, I mean, Antonelli down there. I mean, I guess, Russell was looking quick there, but ended up starting 7th on the grid, or 6th, I should say. So, what else, Jonathan? Any other things that I haven't? Oh, I know one thing I want to talk about, Chris. What about the Pirelli tire change this weekend? We touched on wheel to wheel. What do you think? I mean, is it all out the window now with the rain?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I also think even if it gets to slick weather at any point, which it might, because I can tell you right now that the rain has stopped, or it's barely spitting. But also, there's blue sky over turn 1. I'm stood outside. I've just undone my coat. I'm still, I left the media room so I could get loud again, and it's fine. Like there'll be spray. They're going to go behind the formation lap, behind the safety car, maybe 2 or 3. And it will definitely be intermediates. There might be some very wet sections. But if it stays like this long enough before the heavy stuff hits that James Vowles was talking about, we might go on to slicks at some stage. But if you do that in these conditions, you always go on the softest compounds. Probably the medium, because the soft might not hold up long enough. Doesn't give you the flexibility. But the hard, being the hardest possible compound in these conditions, would be an error. Unless you were certain that you were going to get to the end of the race on that set of tyres. You just need something that warms up more quickly and gives you more grip in greasy conditions. So it was a cool idea to try and create some strategic variation.
Yeah.
But as always, you don't need anything other than rain to do that.
Yeah, it's spot. All right, Jonathan, we're down to prediction time. I'll start with you.
Mansell.
Well, I mean, this race today.
Oh, right. Okay, this race.
one.
Gosh, it's tough, isn't it? I have to say, given the circumstances and where we are, I'd actually bet on Max for a win with the 2 McLarens following him up.
In the rain, that's not a bad prediction. All right, finish your podium.
Okay, sorry. With Norris and Piastri 3rd.
All right, Chris.
So I can see the logic. I thought about it, but I'm going to go Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc.
Okay, I'm going to go Leclerc, Verstappen, Albon. How about that? He's starting P5 in the rain, so we'll see how that
would be a
plays out.
special one.
That would be, wouldn't it? All right, guys, we are out of time. I want to thank to you, Jonathan Green, Chris Medland, our producer, Casey Johns. I don't give him enough credit. And all the people who gave us interviews.
He'd
wow.
prefer you didn't use his name, to be honest.
But stay here right here for the race and come back for the post-race. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you after the race.